All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. Going to be talking about, I got a great topic to talk about here and something to pick your brain over. And of course, I went to Find Summer Wells Facebook page to see if anything was posted. And sure enough, it says 7 hours ago, it says here, you can read the class action lawsuit and the painful stories being shared. God help our children. We love you, Josie, White, Waylon, and our Summer. And they've got a little picture up here on it that says class action lawsuit, Tennessee against DCS. And it says here, plaintiffs, 13 children in foster care representing the general class of over 9,000 children in foster care in Tennessee. Now, it's my understanding that there is, I guess, maybe a class action lawsuit against DCS, right? So I'm gonna do my best to break it down for you and tell you how this is probably gonna go. Okay. First of all, the children that are in foster care, DCS, whatever, those children at one time had parents, right? And I will guarantee you 98% of those had parents that were on drugs, had substance, alcohol addiction, were not being, I've got to keep it kind of Disney-like on here. The parents were not treating the kids right, if you know what I mean. And that goes with physical, psychological, ABUSE. I'll just spell it out. ABUSE. That's the reason why it's kind of like, I tell you guys, I'm telling you right now what it's going to come to. I'm telling you what right now. It's going to go into the court system. It's going to be the buddy system because it's the state of Tennessee, guys. I hate to say this, but it's the buddy system and it's the state of Tennessee. I think that they're probably going to make some changes, which I think they do need to make some changes. There need to be more oversight with DCS, need to be more accountability. But here's the big thing that I hope they change, okay? Here's the one thing I hope the state of Tennessee, because DCS is a state agency, okay? I hope that when this does get into court and if there's a settlement, the state of Tennessee will be like, okay, yeah. But, all these parents going to have to quit being shitty parents and we won't have 9,000 kids in the system, right? It starts at home with the parents. I hope when this court case starts out, I hope that the state of Tennessee says, Your Honor, before we even get started here with all this, I just would like to say that the stuff involving these kids, it starts at home, Your Honor. It starts at home. So, and that will probably put things into perspective. And I'm sure the judge, number one, is buddy system because you're suing the state of Tennessee, right? Basically. So it's going to be the buddy system. It'd probably go to a higher court or something like that, but it's still, you know what I mean? It still can be argued that, there's just too many bad parents putting too many children in the system, for whatever reason. It starts at home with the parents, and if that does not work, they end up here, right? So, what I propose, okay, and this is what and I think that they're going to go with this, guys. I really do. I think that they're going to go with this because whenever you settle, you've got to kind of make, like the state settles this, they've got to make changes, right? They've got to, they've got to hold people accountable. There's got to be changes put in place, procedures that, it's just the state will have to make changes, and, it'll be court ordered. So, I mean, they'll have to do this stuff, right? DCS will have to do these things. So what I'm proposing, what I would propose is that, okay, we are equipped to, like they can do an audit, right? And I believe each county in Tennessee has their own DCS office, right? So each county or district, DCS district, they're going to have to put into place that we can only take so many kids. I think right now, the way it is, they just try to fit them in because where else are they going to go, right? Mom and dad are on crack, meth, whatever, and they're in jail, prison. In most cases, guys, the family, the entire family is not worth a shit, right? In most cases, I mean, look at Quentin Simon, right? He got taken from his mom. He got put with his grandmother. The grandmother wasn't worth a shit. Billy Joe, she wasn't worth a shit. She ended up putting Quentin back in the care of her daughter, and he ended up dead. That's what I'm saying, guys. In most cases, the entire family ain't even worth a crap. So it starts and ends with the family. But I hope they say, okay, we're going to cap it. Each DCS office in whatever county they're in, whether they're Sevier County, Washington County, Hawkins County, whatever. Once we hit that cap, we can't take no more. Y'all gonna have to, if there is another county that they can go to where there's some openings, you can ship them there, right? Let's say if the DCS in Hawkins County has a cap of 50 kids at any given, they're going to have to put a cap on it, guys. They're going to have to. You just can't have 200-300 kids coming to a little old DCS office in Hawkins County because half the county's parents are on drugs, right? You can't. But that's what's happening. The parents are putting DCS in a position they shouldn't be in my opinion. So I propose that each office has a cap, whether, it's 50 kids or whatever. I know they've got something working through. I think DCS in Tennessee has something established with the Isaiah House, and that'll probably hold some more kids. They've got, satellite places all throughout the state of Tennessee. The Isaiah House does. I think they work with DCS to help them, hold kids, get them at least somewhere where they're, reasonably comfortable and can eat and sleep and, all that good stuff. But the way it is right now, hell, you've got kids sleeping on the floor in some of these DCS offices because the parents are being arrested for, drugs and alcohol. Or ABUSE, right? And they're gonna have to start holding these damn parents accountable, guys. Yes, this is going to have to be fixed on both the DCS end and the parents end. Okay, hold DCS accountable. Put stuff into place to where DCS is held accountable, put stuff into place where, DCS can say, okay, we're bound by this legally. We can't take no more kids. Sorry, your parents are on crack and they got arrested, but y'all sued us. We can't take you now. We're full. The court has said we can only take so many, and because now you got a bunch of parents out there on crack and meth, and they're going to be bitching. Well, what do you mean you can't take our kids? Well, remember you sued us because we had too many kids, because there's too many of you crackheads out there that are piece of shit parents, and your kids got taken away from you. So I think it's funny because these crackhead parents out there, they're probably, a lot of them are probably the ones behind this lawsuit, right? Some ambulance chasing class action attorneys probably behind this, couple of them, and I really don't think it's going to go anywhere, but I do think that the good part of this, there'll be some changes on the DCS end, and I think there will be more accountability for parents, right? Stiffer punishment for them. But again, I mean, if your jail is full, let's say if Hawkins County, let's say their jail is overcrowded and full, right? You got inmates sleeping on the floor on top of each other, because it's just so damn full. And then, you've got these parents that are arrested for ABUSE, neglect, drug addiction. The kids are being exposed to, METH, meth. What does the jail do? The jail's like, we can't take no more. They're sleeping on the floor on top of each other. Tell these people quit doing drugs. Hell, they got kids. Quit doing. Damn, we're full. DCS is full. We can't. Tell them quit doing drugs. Right? That's the main thing I want taken out of this. It starts with the parents and ends with the parents. I mean, you can't have 20,000 parents in the state of Tennessee getting on drugs and then their kids being pushed into the DCS system. Right? Everything has its limit. Right? Everything has its limit. Even hotels, So I'm hoping that the state puts procedures into place that says, okay, this office can hold 50 kids. This office can hold 50 kids. But the problem is, guys, there's still going to be way more parents with way more kids than DCS can. There's going to be way more parents losing their kids with those kids going into DCS than it's going to have to change. And if in the state of Tennessee they can't hold them all here, because it's going to get to a point to where legally they're going to have to say we can only take in so many, right? Because more likely once this, if this even gets to court, right? If it even gets to court, which I hope it does, because we need to nip it in the bud on the DCS end and the parents' end. Put things into place to where DCS can help these kids and help them in the right way. You just can't send all these kids to them like this. It's not going to work. Not going to work. I mean, you can't put 20,000 people in the Holiday Inn. It just ain't going to work, right? I mean, you can't fit 1 million people into Neyland Stadium to watch a UT football game. It won't hold 1 million people. So, and if that means outsourcing these kids to other states, they're going to have to do it. But legally, I think they're going to get to a point to where they say, hey, we're full. You've got, like if some kids come to, if they bring 10 kids to the Hawkins County DCS office, they're going to be like, hey, we're full. Hey, remember the lawsuit? We can't take no more in. The judge said we can only take in this. We're at our limit. You're going to have to try Johnson City, Greene County, Sullivan County. You're going to have to try one of these other DCS offices, see if they've got room. But we due to the lawsuit, hey, we're full. No vacancy. I hope that's what it gets to. That way, these, shitty parents can't come back and say, well, they didn't take our kids in. They're just pieces of shit. Well, no. I'm sure they would take your kids in, but again, you're bitching because they're sleeping on the floor. DCS has got them in sleeping bags on the DCS office floor, looking like a damn, what's them things called? Shelter from a hurricane or, tornado or something like that. So that's one of the things I hope good thing comes out of this class action lawsuit. I hope that they pass laws that says, okay, so many kids can only stay at these certain offices. And if they can't, they got to go to another office that's got room. And, once all and the thing is, guys, it's so bad. The drugs are so bad that probably all of the offices in the state of Tennessee are going to be too full. And then at that point, you're like, okay, where do we send them now? Well, you're going to have to send them out of state. Send them to a Georgia DCS office. Send them to South Carolina, North Carolina, Kentucky, Virginia, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas. You're going to have to send them to maybe another bordering state. Work something out with them, which I don't know how that would work, because they're supposed to be in the state's system. But, there again, if the state, I'm serious, if the state says, okay, legally we're going to do this, and if there's not room, the parents are just screwed because, they need to either, get off the drugs or, be decent parents, right? Because that's where it starts. The druggy parents and the shitty parents. And the parents that, like to hit and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's where it starts. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about this class action lawsuit against DCS, give my thoughts on it. It's I don't know if it's got anything to do. I don't know if Dawn and Candace are involved in this class action lawsuit. But, if you wasn't on drugs and alcohol to begin with, you wouldn't have nothing to bitch about. Be thankful they took your kids in, gave them a roof over their head, and they're thriving. But no, like Hunter said, y'all just want to sit around, collect dust, and go chase that money, right? Y'all just want that money. You ain't gonna get no money out of this. I hate to say it, but I don't think any of these druggy parents are gonna get any money out of this. What's gonna happen is the state's gonna make legal changes to these offices and to how everything's ran. They may even put in a new commissioner, just to satisfy everybody. I can see them doing that, putting in a new commissioner. But, DCS can only do so much. You can only put so many damn people. Like the Holiday Inn only holds 400. If they only got, let's say if Holiday Inn has 200 rooms, right? You can't stick 50,000 people in that Holiday Inn. It ain't gonna happen. You could, but damn people, it'd be like damn bodies on top of bodies on the floor. But that's fire hazard. You can't do that. Yeah, I'm sure some of these DCS offices are breaking, fire hazard codes by having all these kids sleeping in the floors and stuff in these DCS offices. And that's another thing, you know, there's code enforcement issues here because all these druggy parents are having to have their kids go to these local DCS offices, and you can, I mean, it's like they got to be scratching their heads going, God damn, how many druggy parents are out there, right? I mean, there's probably some nights the local DCS office is like, okay, something's got to give. This is the 20th kid that's been brought here tonight by the sheriff's department. What the hell? You know what I mean? Yeah. So they need to cap it. And then, you know, once that cap's been met, they just need to tell the parents, you know, hey, this on you. This on you. And they need, actually they need, but I don't know, guys. It's just a big, it's a big population problem with the criminals. It's like, I mean, if you've got parents out there that are getting arrested for ABUSE, neglect, you know, and this and that, and you got other people getting arrested for, you know, theft, attempted murder, you know, armed robbery, a whole bunch of crime. I mean, the jail's got the same problem. Where do you put all these criminals? These jails across the country have the same problem DCS has. The jails are like, where do we put all these criminals? And DCS is like, where do we put all these kids? You know? I mean, something's got to give. I mean, these parents are going to have to step up and be responsible, you know, loving parents, not doing drugs. I mean, it's okay to have a beer here and there, and, you know, I mean, 4th of July, go grill some steaks, and, you know, everybody come over, and the kids are playing in the backyard, and, you know, the neighbors are over, and, you know, we're sitting here grilling steaks and hot dogs, and, you know, having one beer, you know. That's way different than having 20 or 30 people over into a mobile home and cooking up meth with your kids in the next room. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about here. And then you multiply that times 20,000, which is probably the true number in Tennessee that we're dealing with here, right? So anyway, guys, great topic. I'm glad that whoever posted this for the Find Summer Wells Facebook page posted this. In my opinion, you know, it starts and ends with the parents. I mean, in my opinion, Dawn and Candace are shitty parents. You know, Candace got a bunch of kids taken away from her before she even met Dawn, right? And now she's just repeated the cycle. And that's what I'm talking about. You can't do that to DCS, right? You're putting them in a position that they don't need to be in because you decide you just want to be a shitty parent. And you get you sign your rights away, and then you get the easy way out. But then you come back and want to jump on the bandwagon of a class action lawsuit like you were a good parent. Again, it just shows what a piece of shit you are, in my opinion. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think about the little show I done, a little podcast tonight. Drop in comments below. Let me know what you think. Oh, and for Jody Sue, I do not care about your little old petty life. I got better things to do than worry about your little old petty life and your mentality that you got going on. You know, everybody knows that you're batshit crazy. I got better things to do with my life than to watch you and or whatever you're alleging that I'm doing. Yeah, I go up to Beach Creek every now and then. I mean, who don't go? I mean, yeah, I go up there. It's called research. It's called, you know, Ryan does it. Dolly Vision's done it. I mean, the new. You gonna talk about? She probably has. She's probably talking about the news coming up in there too. Well, the news is just wanting to clout chase to get to Don Wells to walk down the dog trail with him so they can have content for their news. People are just damn curious. That's all it is. There ain't no weird conspiracy. Now, I'm sure there's probably some people out there that are, I'm sure, she's got a point to some extent about some people being, too overly involved and probably got some personal vendetta against Jody. But I care less about Jody Sue Brown. I care less about Andy. Care less about Dawn and Candace. I care less about any of the druggies up in Beach Creek, right? I care less about Chris Watts. I care less about, what is his name? Barry Morphew. I just got a YouTube channel. I do research. I go get footage. I don't even really call myself an investigative reporter. I just, if I'm curious about something, I go gather the content, put it on YouTube, just like any other YouTuber would, and no shit, no crazy shit like Jody Sue Brown's talking about. That's just, she's out of her mind, guys. She is completely out of her damn mind. But yeah, anyway. But guys, yeah, let me know what you think. Do you think they should cap the limit to how many kids they can take into these offices? That way it falls back on the parents. And it gets rid of a safety issue with too many kids being at these offices. I mean, they're violating fire codes. They're violating all kinds of safety codes, putting probably 50 to 100 kids in these local DCS offices. They need to cap it. And then, once it's full, I mean, if laws are passed, they're going to have to. They're going to cap it anyway. They're going to say, hey, each DCS office can take up to 25 kids at any given time. Once they hit that cap, it's going to be on the parents to find somewhere for them to go. Right? I think that's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. It needs to fall back on the parents and force them some bitches to have some damn accountability and responsibility. That's what it ought to do. That's my opinion. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in to the show. Appreciate it. Get down there and drop them comments. Let me know if you liked what I said. You think I hit the nail on the head again? I mean, I would love to testify in this class action lawsuit. I would love to get up on the stand and just say what I just said. I hope somebody does. Anyway, let me know what you think. And that's pretty much it. So, pretty interesting topic. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay cool. I know it's been hot out there. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.